Look, Donald Trump is going to win the Iowa caucuses. The only question is by how much. And wisely, the Trump team is not taking anything for granted because essentially they're battling the weather elements and also a deceitful media narrative about margin of victory. Look, when it comes to the distant second place, honestly, you can flip a coin between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Yes, Nikki Haley surging in the polls, but I'll be honest, Ron DeSantis has a much better ground game. So really, it's a 50-50 there, but they're going to fall well behind Trump.
Thank you for bringing up that narrative there because, you know, Hogan, a lot of people are saying, does Trump make it to 50? And if he doesn't, they're going to try to maybe say that he's losing some of the majority, that Haley's gaining on him in New Hampshire. What do you expect to play out this evening? And obviously, there is, you know, a lot of folks there that are braving the cold. And you obviously would think that most of them will come out for Trump and not be apathetic here.
Oh, of course. And, you know, Donald Trump's supporters would walk across broken glass to vote for him. And that's what it's going to feel like with temperatures -20 out there. Listen, his base is so excited and they're so fired up. And what I love about the campaign this time around, not that it wasn't this way in 2016 or 2020, but there are two ways to run elections. Mike Huckabee used to tell me this all the time, unopposed and scared. And it looks like the Trump campaign said, we're going to pretend as though we're down 20 points. So with 1,600 or so precincts in the state of Iowa, they've got 2,000 precinct captains. They have 400 training centers for caucus goers. They knew they wanted to turn their votes out and those votes out, and they will exceed expectations. But this whole thing about 50%, I love what my counterpart just said. The narrative is the media is trying to push on us is that somehow if Donald Trump doesn't win by 50, he's in trouble. No one else is even close to him right now, and he has a pathway through New Hampshire and South Carolina. And so if things kind of stay where they are, you could potentially have a de facto nominee by the end of February, which is unheard of in Republican politics. The rest of the field just doesn't have what it takes to fight like Donald Trump does or to coalesce the GOP electorate like he has.
Well, we'll be watching tonight. Obviously, a caucus is not a primary. There's also same-day registration in Iowa, so if people feel encouraged, they can go and switch if there's independents out there. Ford, you know how that goes, and as someone who is a surrogate for Trump. But Iowa really is the kickoff here, and it whittling down, sort of. You had DeSantis get the endorsement of Governor Reynolds. You have Vanderplatz, who claims that he's, you know, predicted the last three winners here. But at the end of the day, you know, DeSantis has also said the media has played into some of this and that Donald Trump just gets more media coverage. Do you see any of that playing into where his campaign was, or was it just not run properly for Ron DeSantis, who had, you know, really came out of the gate strong as the alternate to Trump many months ago?
Look, Donald Trump has unfinished business, and he is the heart and soul of the Republican grassroots. It was always going to be a Herculean task to try to knock off Donald Trump. Frankly, the bottom line is all the other candidates are wasting their money because it's Trump's time now. When you look at the polls, not just in the primary, but also in the general election, Donald Trump is in the best polling position he's ever been in, not just in 2024, but also since 2016. This is Donald Trump's time.
Let's talk about Marco Rubio endorsing Trump, the timing of it yesterday here, and we know their past history, little Marco. Hogan, weigh in on this. Why is he endorsing Trump? Why now? And do you think he really wanted to?
I think a lot of people out there are looking around and saying, what are we going to do? Because Donald Trump is so powerful. We need to kind of get on the Trump train here or we're going to get run over. A lot of folks out there sitting on the sidelines, but this is the time for them to understand what we're up against. Because Donald Trump, with his lead and with the eventuality of him potentially taking Iowa and then running the table on the first three states, again, a lot of ifs there, but he looks like he's in command and in control of this. And they also understand that it's time for the Republican Party, if they want to win in 2024, and they want to beat Joe Biden, they're going to have to pull out all the stops, and they're going to have to work together in a way they haven't done in a while. Remember, as Republicans, we are by our nature more individualistic than the left. That's why they want to put everyone in boxes on the other side and groups, because they want to push and pull those groups as they see fit to meet their political ends. We're more individualistic. However, politics is a team sport, and it looks like a lot of these senators are waking up to the fact that if they want more horrific policies from Joe Biden, then they're going to sit on the sidelines. But if they're going to get involved, they know they can take Biden out and put in an American first president.
We just have